Okay, real quick video today on grip. Here, turn this way, it might be easier. So I want to discuss my grip and what I feel is the appropriate way to grip a pistol. So the first step is to make sure the webbing between your thumb and forefinger is really high up into the beaver tail area. In some firearms you do have to be careful of the slide that may bite you there. But you want to get your hand as high as possible without interfering with any motion of the slide. Once you do that, you also want to make sure your middle finger is tight up under the trigger guard. Mine is undercut here. See, it goes up a little bit. Allows me to get my hand higher on the firearm, which can give me better leverage. So once that's up there, then my focus is probably what you're not expecting, but it's on my pinky pressure, and then ring finger, and then middle finger. So the most important part of the grip here is going to be the pinky strength, and then your ring finger strength. It's all acting as leverage as this thing tries to go up. So you can get the most amount of strength and leverage from these bottom two fingers. The third one does still work, but it's more so pushing the firearm back into the webbing of your hand with the beaver tail. So you really want to have a strong, firm, especially the lower couple fingers of your grip. You can do that, you're one-handed shooting, you will be really surprised at the recoil control that you have just from concentrating on the lower fingers here and pulling it back into your hand and pushing this forward into the gun. If you can do that, I think you're going to find a lot of recoil control that you didn't have before. And then to top it off, when you put your weak hand on there, you want to get that pointer finger up into that trigger guard. Some people have another little undercut here or a textured area so that they have a little index point of reference for their hand. I don't mind smooth, but I get it up in there, and then the focus on this is again my lower couple fingers. So these lower three fingers are pushing directly back into the front strap of the gun and onto my other fingers, helping them with that recoil control. And this one is actually doesn't have much room in it. So what I do as part of my gripping pressure is actually provides a slight amount of upward pressure onto the underside of this trigger guard. And that helps me for any time that I have a bad trigger pull where I might yoink it downward. This, and keeping it clamped, I'm doing all backwards pressure, except this top one, since there's not much room here, you see I can't fit a finger. But if I put this one in here, it creates a little backwards and upwards pressure, and that allows me to keep it without any possibility of jerking. I mean, I really have to influence it with my wrists and everything to make it dip downward because of that. You don't want to have a lot there, but it's just kind of part of the grip because I have no room. My finger's wedged in there, and it creates an even more stable platform for the trigger pull. So again, the important parts of the grip are these lower couple fingers directly back into the back or in front into the front strap. You want to pulse directly back, and you also want to have this pressure pushing straight forward. So when you add this one, you're not going to really be pushing with your strong hand, but you are going to be resisting your weak hands pulling it back. So that's going to act by driving your strong hand further into the beaver tail, and it's going to create a tremendous amount of leverage, and you're going to have a ridiculous amount of recoil control. Now you will have some side-to-side pressure from the squeezing of these hands. You can see these fingers are coming around, and this also creates a clamp like that. So you will have some side-to-side influence, but it's not going to be generated from your elbows or your wrists or anything. You're not tweaking it in. This is all going to just be from the front to back gripping pressure that you have on the pistol. Give that a try, especially in the doubles drill, where you just put your sights on target and go pow pow, two quick shots. Test the grip out, experiment with it. It will feel weird at first if you've been doing other sideways towards the pressure or different grip technique. It will feel odd at first, but it's worth it. You should really give it a try.